In the world of combat sports, we have rules. No eye gouges, no throat strikes, no small joint manipulation. But what if I told you there's a style of karate where those illegal moves aren't just allowed, they are the foundation? Welcome to the world of Uechi-Ryū. Originating from the Pangai Noon style of southern China, it's often called the hard-soft style. Today we're breaking down 10 techniques so devastating that they are effectively banned from modern sparring. We aren't just looking at moves, we're looking at the science of human destruction. The Shokan-ken, or Phoenix Eye Strike, is the crown jewel of Uechi-Ryū's lethal arsenal. Unlike a standard boxing punch that distributes impact across 4 knuckles, the Shokan-ken retracts the index finger slightly, bracing it firmly with the thumb to create a singular, rock-hard protrusion. This mechanical shift transforms your hand from a hammer into a surgical spike, concentrating your entire body's kinetic energy into a surface area no larger than a marble. It is specifically designed to bypass heavy muscle and bottom out on soft targets like the temple, the throat, or the floating ribs, causing devastating internal trauma that a flat fist simply cannot replicate. Because this move can easily fracture a skull or collapse a windpipe with minimal effort, it is strictly prohibited in all forms of competitive combat sports. 2. The Boshi-ken, Thumbtip Strike. The Boshi-ken is perhaps the most unconventional and feared strike in the Uechi-Ryū system. Instead of using the knuckles, the practitioner tucks the thumb tightly against the side of the index finger, using the reinforced tip of the thumb as a primary striking surface. This thumb blade is conditioned through years of striking sandbags and wooden posts until the joint becomes as rigid as a steel bolt. In a confrontation, the Boshi-ken is used with clinical precision to target the carotid artery, the soft tissue behind the ear, or the nerves of the neck. Because a full-force strike can cause a total shutdown of the opponent's nervous system or permanent damage to the throat, it is deemed far too lethal for the ring and remains a technique reserved strictly for life-or-death self-defense. 3. The Sokusengari, toe kick. The Sokusengari is the signature kick of Uechi-Ryū, and it's unlike anything you'll find in modern MMA or Muay Thai. Rather than striking with the shin or the ball of the foot, the practitioner uses the tips of the big toes, which have been hardened through years of intense makiwara conditioning. This turns the foot into a spear, allowing the force of a full-body kick to penetrate deep into the opponent's internal organs. It is specifically aimed at soft gaps in the human frame, such as the bladder, the solar plexus, or the armpit, because the concentrated pressure can cause internal hemorrhaging or organ failure with a single hit. It is considered one of the most dangerous strikes in martial arts and is universally banned from competitive combat sports. 4. The Hiraken, four-knuckle flat strike. The Hiraken is a specialized flat fist strike where the fingers are folded at the second joint, creating a hard horizontal ridge of bone. This technique bridges the gap between a palm heel and a standard punch, offering a wider surface area than the Shokan-ken, but with significantly more piercing power than a glove. In traditional Uechi-Ryū, the Hiraken is used to snap the bridge of the nose or to crush the small cartilage of the throat. It is particularly effective in close quarters clinches, where there isn't enough space to throw a full punch. Because the flat knuckles can easily slice skin or shatter the delicate bones of the face with a short whipping motion, it is completely illegal in modern combat sports where safety is a priority. 5. The Wayuke, circular bone-breaking block. In Uechi-Ryū, the Wayuke is far more than a defensive maneuver. It is a high-speed collision designed to disable an attacker's limb. Unlike soft blocks found in other styles, the Wayuke utilizes a circular, whipping motion that catches an incoming strike with the razor edge of the radius bone. Practitioners spend years conditioning their forearms through kodekitai, a process of rhythmic striking, until their bones become as dense as iron pipes. When executed at full speed, the Wayuke doesn't just deflect a punch or kick, it acts as a hammer, aiming to shatter the small bones of the opponent's wrist or numbing the nerves in their leg instantly. Because this block is intended to cause structural skeletal damage rather than just redirecting force, it is considered too aggressive and destructive for any regulated sparring environment. 6. The Hijizuki, rising spear elbow. While many martial arts utilize elbows, the Uechi-Ryū Hijizuki is executed with a unique, vertical rising motion that focuses the entire weight of the legs and hips into the sharpest point of the elbow bone. This strike is designed specifically for extreme close-quarters combat, where a practitioner sticks to their opponent and drives the elbow upward into the underside of the jaw or the orbital bone of the eye. It doesn't just aim for a knockout. It is intended to cause catastrophic structural failure to the facial bones or the cervical spine. Because of its incredible upward velocity and the high risk of permanent disfigurement or spinal trauma, this specific spearing application of the elbow is strictly forbidden in almost every regulated combat sport worldwide. 7. The Nukite, spear hand thrust. The Nukite is a terrifyingly precise weapon that transforms the human hand fingers and tightening them into a rigid, reinforced blade. The practitioner creates a tool designed for one thing: piercing the softest parts of the human anatomy. In traditional Uechi-Ryū, the Nukite isn't aimed at the chest or stomach. It is targeted at the throat, the armpit, or the orbits of the eyes. This move relies on extreme fingertip conditioning, allowing the strike to sink into soft tissue to grab, rip, or rupture vital structures. Because it bypasses the blunt force of sport fighting in favor of surgical, life-altering penetration, it is considered one of the most inhumane techniques and is banned from all competitive rings. 38. The Toraguchi, tiger maw rip. The Toraguchi, or tiger's mouth, is a brutal technique that focuses on the mechanics of gripping and tearing rather than just striking. The hand is shaped into a powerful claw, with the web between the thumb and index finger acting as a snapping hinge. This move is specifically designed to target the windpipe or the muscles of the neck. The practitioner delivers a forceful palm strike to stun the opponent, immediately followed by a crushing grip that can collapse the trachea or rip through soft tissue. Because the Toraguchi is intended to cause permanent respiratory failure or catastrophic tissue damage that cannot be tapped out of, it is viewed as a primitive, lethal maneuver that has no place in the world of regulated sports. 9. The Kakushite, hidden ambush strike. Kakushite is not just a single move, but a psychological and physical hidden hand tactic that is the antithesis of sportsmanship. In a professional ring, fighters signal their intent by squaring up, but Kakushite is designed to be launched from a completely neutral, non-threatening posture. The strike, often a palm heel or a sudden finger flick to the eyes, is delivered while the opponent is still processing that a fight has begun. It utilizes the blind spot created by the opponent's own blinking or breathing rhythm to land a finishing blow before they can even raise their guard. Because it relies on the element of total surprise and dirty deception to end a conflict in seconds, it is fundamentally banned in every sport that requires a ready signal or a fair start. 10. The Kyushawaza, vital point overload. The final and most secretive level of Uechi-Ryū is Kyushawaza, the science of striking pressure points to cause neurological collapse. Unlike a standard punch that relies on muscle power, these strikes use refined shapes like the shoken or boshi-ken to hit specific nerve clusters, such as the brachial plexus under the arm or the femoral nerve in the thigh. A precise hit here doesn't just hurt, it sends a system shock to the brain, causing temporary paralysis, limb failure, or even a sudden drop in blood pressure that results in an instant knockout. Because these techniques target the body's internal wiring rather than its surface, they are impossible to regulate safely and are completely banned in combat sports to prevent unpredictable and life-threatening medical emergencies.